right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming here. My name is Federica Mandrioli. I'm Italian, as you may hear from my accent, strong accent, and I'll be your trainer today. So welcome again. May I ask you your name, please? Yes, I'm Anna. Nice to meet you.
I'm Joe.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
Frank.
Nice to meet you. Well, thank you for coming here, and thank you again, and welcome. As you know, we are here for our workshop, how to make a real coffee in a very Italian way at home. And that's, as you know, part of your one-day workshop on the Italian household run by the Authentic Italian Association. I know you are all members, so I don't have to explain you anything about that. But today, together for our session, we are going to talk about coffee, all about coffee. Yay! So, coffee is so important in Italy, obviously, as you know, and we have our coffees like all day long. It can be at coffee shops or bars, it can be for breakfast, it can be during our lunch break. But at work as well, so I don't know if you know that, but in our workplaces, it can be school, it can be our offices, factories. There are something similar to vendor machines who actually prepare freshly made hot coffee, because you always may need it, so it's ready for you. And can be something good for your short breaks, can be something good when you need to, let's say, wake you up a little bit. But most of all, obviously, we prepare our coffees at home. And that's going to be by using our stovetop coffee maker. And that's exactly what we are going to do today. So learn how to use a stovetop coffee maker. Every heavy house, actually, in Italy has at least one stovetop maker. And you may see they have two of them because there are different sizes. So in every Italian house, you will find at least one. Depending on your need. So if you need to have more people, maybe for lunch or for dinner as a guest, so it's really up to you, let's say, up to your needs. I have, for example, as you may see, this is a very tiny one. That's a 1 cup stovetop coffee maker. This is a 3 cups. I see here around even up to 10 cups. So it's really up to you. Now, when it comes to the coffee, what we need to think is it can be completely different from the one you may have in a coffee shop. So the taste is different, and obviously the process is completely different. But now what we're going to do today is really learning how to use it, and I'm going to give you also a demonstration at the end of it, so to really see how it works. All right, let's go back to our coffee properly. First thing, may I ask you, have you ever used a stovetop coffee maker before, for any reason?
No.
I've got one that my grandma gave me and really used it. So it's just sitting there in the cupboard.
Yes, well, maybe we're going to use it from now. Yeah. So it's absolutely fine. No worries at all, because we're going to start from the basics. We're going to see every step. So we don't need any previous knowledge, let's say. And actually, for this reason, I prepared for you a sort of guide just to help you to follow all the steps and follow me through the workshop. And this can be obviously handy for you, because you're more than welcome to keep it. So you may write notes on it, just to be a sort of guide whenever you're going to make it at your home with your own stovetop. So that's exactly for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's a pen. Welcome. In case you want to write down anything. As you may see, our guide starts with a sort of brief history on, you're right, as you know, as you see, they're here, so I understand. So I started this guide with actually a sort of brief history on our invention, so on the inventor of the stovetop coffee maker. This is actually Mr. Bialetti. I don't know if you have ever heard about the name. That's actually the most popular brand exactly of the machines themselves. This is here actually, that's real name. And he is the guy who invented our stovetop coffee maker. He's Italian, and
Is that actually his picture on the front there? Or?
yes, exactly. It was with the big mustaches and always in that position. So, what I wrote is a very brief history of how he came up with this idea. So during the 1920s, Bialetti noticed the laundry method used by the local women. So the wash was boiled in tubs, with a central pipe in the middle. So the pipe would draw the soapy water up and redistribute it over the laundry. So that's exactly how it worked, and that's what he saw. And so he thought, okay, his creative mind is, I wrote them here. So he thought, well, I can simply apply the same method to a coffee machine. And so fashion it on that model, just to produce an espresso, let's say, at home as in a bar. In 1933, so Alfonso Bialetti, Mr. Bialetti, invented how it's called the Mocha Express. And the claim, and I remember always through the years actually of my also childhood on the TV, the brand, the motto was always in casa un espresso come al bar. That means at home an espresso, so at the coffee, like in a bar, like in a coffee shop. And it's always been the same, and it was actually his idea. So that what he brought up and brought home. So it's really, really important for him. And that's why we have now those Mocha Express called stovetop, obviously in English, coffee machines, coffee makers. So let's start looking on what we need to prepare our coffee. So the resources, let's say, our material. First thing, we need ground coffee. Now, when it comes to the coffee, you may buy it obviously in a supermarket, choosing your brand, the type. Obviously, you know there are so many different kinds of coffee. So you have already maybe your favorite one. So once you choose which is the coffee you want to buy, what you have to do is just to check on the package itself if it's suitable for stovetop coffee makers. So the back usually of the package is going to tell you, maybe with a picture or expressing in words, yes, that's okay to use it with a stovetop coffee maker. If you usually have your coffee bought from instead a coffee store, maybe when they roast it, again, it's not a problem because what you have to do is simply to ask them to ground it for you. So it's going to be nice and done quickly. Actually, they do like in 1 minute or something like that. So very easy to get in this shape, let's say. So that's for the ground coffee. Obviously, we need a stovetop coffee maker in a size that you may want and you may need. Then we need a teaspoon, and then we need water. This is bottled water, and has to be bottled water.
Really?
Yes. It's going to be a different taste, and it's going to affect the filter itself if we use tap water. We can, obviously it depends where you are, in which country. If you are on the ground floor, if you are in a countryside or by the sea, the tap water always has elements. And that's obviously going to have an impact on the coffee. So always and only bottled, obviously spilled, not sparkling, bottled water, and out of the fridge temperature, not hot, not cold. I mean, so just out of the fridge is going to be fine, whatever is the weather. And then obviously we need our kitchen stove, and that's simple as it is. Nothing to add on that. So these are all the ingredients, let's say, for the material for our recipe. Any questions up to now? Is all clear? Beautiful.
That's one question.
Yes, you can.
If you're grinding the coffee at home, do you want it ground coarsely or fine?
Oh, well, you may choose. You may choose because both the methods are going to be fine for the process itself. So you can have actually a different taste.
Okay.
So you can definitely choose. So that's a good question. Thank you for asking. Right. So let's go ahead looking for our steps. And they are nicely expressed and explained here on the worksheet, so let's follow them. So step number 1, let me actually, I'm going to use a small one. Let me open it for you. This is how actually a stovetop coffee maker is made, so the 3 components, the 3 elements. What we need to do is to understand first how it's built. So which are the components? We have 3 elements. Number 1, number 2, and let's say number 3. So the first one is the base. Obviously the bottom of our stovetop coffee maker. That's the place where we're going to put our water. Then we have the middle piece, let's say the small one, that's the coffee holder. So where obviously we're going to put our coffee. Then we have the top of the coffee maker, the coffee machine. What we're going to do is obviously to assemble all together in this way. and then screw the top onto the base. Nice and tight, really, we're going to see. So we need to do not tight, it cannot be loose, because it's going to spill everywhere when we're going. We don't want that. So, let's see the steps. We're saying that we need to remove the coffee holder, so this piece from the base, and we're going to obviously use our water. The important thing is, you would ask maybe to yourself, yes, but how much? Yes. The water is important. We need to reach. You may see that's a safety valve, and it's visible obviously also inside, more or less. So you really need to carefully look. The water has to reach the half, so the middle of the safety valve. And that's for many reasons. First, safety, because you have to cover it for safety reasons. And if you're too low, maybe, it's going to be not enough for the coffee itself. So that's the right amount to have a nice, smooth coffee and not be in any danger, let's say, when it's on the stove. So we're going to put our water inside, and then we're going just to replace the coffee holder in this position. We're going to put our coffee in here, obviously, and we're going to see how. And then we're going to obviously close our stove top, as we see, just screwing obviously the top and the base together. So these are all the passages, that's the process, let's say. Now, I would like to show you in reality, so with real ingredients and elements, how to do that. So let's recreate our 3 elements from the top. We need, we said, to pour some water in it. So bottled water. I always turn, as I did just now, my base with the half looking at me. So I know I see the valve, otherwise I have to look for it where it is. So it's already there, and I can start pouring some water. I go very slowly in a way to try to reach my middle of the valve, as in this way, let's say. Obviously it doesn't have to be very, very precise, there's no way to stay there measuring, but that's exactly what we need to reach, the half, the middle of the valve. Once I have my water ready, I can give it away obviously, and I can put back my coffee holder. Let's face the coffee now. I would like to use that because, as you may guess, once you put your coffee and it's normal, we're going to spill a little bit of coffee around. It can happen. So again, it's very Italian, it's very normal. We try to be nice and tidy as much as we can. I'm using a very small teaspoon just to not overgo, but we'll see. What we need to do is to have...
It smells so good when you open the jar.
It is true, I love it. I love this space. So what we need to do, and to be honest, I usually do that on the bench, so when I'm standing, because it's more visible. And to do something better, I'm going to move that on the way and see better for you. Otherwise I cannot see the border. So what I'm doing is, now that I put already a little bit, as you may see, of coffee ground, I really need to move it around, but nicely, never without compress the coffee, never. So we need to move that close to our border. Otherwise you have gaps, like, so you're going to have the middle almost empty again, probably. So we need to refill it. So let's go ahead, put in some coffee.
So it's completely different to the barista machine.
Yes, because the idea is, why don't we don't have to compress? Because otherwise the water is going to struggle when it has to pass through and reach the pipe. So it has to be not compressed, it has to be soft. And we need to create a sort of pyramid, a sort of hill in the center. So,
yeah, I didn't know that at all. Just squashed it down with the teaspoon.
Yeah, I know, because it's actually what you see in a cafe. You know, when you see them in the machine, they just compress, as you said, so just pull there and then you go. But it's a different method. It's not going as boiling water, as a heat. It's just a different method to create the coffee. And that's why it's different also in the taste. Wow, well done. So no coffee around for now. So we have all the borders covered. We have a sort of hill, as you may see, a pyramid. So now we can add the third part to our top. Definitely on the top. And nicely put all together, assemble all together in a tight way. enough time, not too much, because you have to think I have to be able to obviously open it at the end, and that was my issues at the beginning. All right, I'm stuck here, so I'm going to clean it later. So that's exactly how it's supposed to be loaded up and ready our stovetop coffee maker. Any questions up to now?
No, it's very clear.
Very clear, all good? Any questions at all? Any curiosity?
Does the top part, does that have a space for the pyramid of coffee to not be knocked out of the...
Well, it has a little bit. I made sure.
Very, very careful when you put the lid back.
Yes, we need to do not put too much. So our heel cannot be too high, let's say. So there is a little bit of area. So this is going to be to maybe spread the heel just to have something that we cannot make manually. So something higher than the base but nicely shaped. And this is the filter. So the idea, so what is going to happen now? The water is going to, I think it's pressed here, so at number 5. We are actually now ready to put our stovetop on our stove directly. So how does it work? We are gently heating the water to the point where it just starts to boil. So obviously it's going to pass through the coffee, the ground coffee, and then reach the top, coming out from this small pipe that we have. So what I'm going to do is to actually put on our stove our coffee maker. So let me just do that. Go here. And I'm going to obviously switch on the right stove. And now we're going to talk about this last passage because it's so important as well. The heating. So the idea is that we cannot really use a very strong power. We really need to choose a low power. If in doubt, go for the lower one. For example, in my case, I usually use the small stove, not the bigger one, the smaller one. And for example, my level is level number 4 or 3, so not too strong. And that's simply because otherwise, first, the taste is going to be different. And you may burn the coffee. And we don't want that. So always stay on the safe side. A very low power. For example, a coffee maker of this shape and size, maybe 10, 12 minutes. You can be on the range of time when it's going to be ready. For a bigger one, even 15 minutes. It depends. But again, it may take longer, but always choose to be on the safe side, so a lower power. So to be sure to not, again, burn it, otherwise it's not tasting good. It's not good at all. Right. How do we know when it's ready? We are going, as it said in number 6, to hear the coffee bubbling, something like that. And it's coming out from the pot. So you will hear, and with the bubbling, you're going to check, and you will see that the coffee is going to reach this level. So the liquid coffee is going to be ready, to need to be poured. That's the hint. So the criteria to say, okay, that's ready. I can obviously turn off my stove, and after a few seconds, so wait a few seconds, pour obviously my coffee in my house. So that's exactly all the process. Have you got any questions? Now that we've seen all together how it works, we see the method, so the process, how we have water and ground coffee, how we have the final product, and how long it's going to take, and obviously when we know that's ready to be drank.
So while it's coming out of the spout, the pipe thing, it's not bubbling yet. Then it starts to bubble once it's all done.
Yes, it's actually, when it's coming out, you will see that, for example, let's say that you will see obviously level going up until this level. So from here, it's coming always few drops. And you really see like bubbles of coffee, but very, very airy. So you really see the bubbles going out until it's all stopped. So everything is going to be still. So the coffee, the max level is reached. Nothing else is coming again.
Once it stops coming out,
it's nice and simple. You don't see any waves, anything is there. That's ready. So I can turn it off, leave it for a few seconds. Again, and it's important because it's stabilizing, let's say. It's going to be there, the coffee, and then I can use it and pour in my cups.
Oh, more to it than I would have thought.
Yeah, it's a very everyday thing for us.
Yeah.
And obviously you have to think of your grandmother who's teaching to your mother, who's going to teach to you, so it's really, really through generations. And it's the beauty actually of our culture. But it's very easy, so once you get to know the passages, it's going to be definitely fine. Right, now, if you don't have any other questions, I would like to talk to you about an important thing. Now we made our coffee. The second page is talking to you and telling you about the cleaning aspect. I know it seems like a pretty normal thing, especially maybe for you, let's say, or Frank as well. But the cleaning of the pot is going to be a very important aspect. So I would like to spend a few words on that because we really need to take care of all the three components. So I would like to tell you as a spoiler alert, a preview on what we're going to find when it's going to be ready and how to deal with it. So imagining my three components, independently separated like now, starting from the base, you have to remember this one had already and only water. So it's never in contact with coffee. So it's so easy. That's the easiest part. You just need to use hot water. That's something important is written here. You don't use dishwasher to clean our stovetop coffee maker. Why? Because the dishwasher may add some salt to the machine. On top of that, when you hand wash them, now we know that, manually, we don't even use any soap. Nothing. So just hot water. Because again, this soap can release and we can find something when we are going to obviously use it again for our coffee. So just very hot water and maybe a soft sponge for just your hands. Actually, I just clean it manually with my hands. So when we need to clean this element, this part, easy. Just through the water, keep it on the drain, that's fine. Now, we have these two components. This one, we know, is the coffee holder. That was all the coffee. What we're going to find is the full compressed and wet ground coffee. So we need just to shake it off, obviously, all the coffee in a bin, and then clean. And it's important to clean very, very well all the borders through the base because there are all the holes.
Yes.
And it's important also, obviously, for the filter, for the water to come up. So pay attention, so doing it properly, let's say, as much as we can to clean perfectly and properly all the base. Let's face the first, let's say the top area of our stovetop coffee maker. What we have is actually, there are two areas to clean. One is where we have our coffee coming out, so the liquid. Obviously, once we pour all our coffee, we're going to find stains, coffee stains, it's all good, so we clean it. It's important to clean the pipe all around, to clean all the base. When it comes to this area, it's hard to clean properly because of the shape itself. But think that many Italians think and believe that the thing that remains here, so it's still coffee, is going to add and enrich the flavor for the next one. So it's just part of the process. So actually, the very first one coffee or a coffee maker is just thrown away. You never drink it because it's like not tasting enough. So once you buy a new one, you always run a coffee, you put it away in the sink, and then you have your real coffee. Because at least let's say the one round is gone. But the more ancient, the more old, so used is the coffee maker, the best taste you have. Yeah. So that's small aspect. That's the top. We have the bottom to take care of. This part was obviously in contact with our coffee holder. So with the coffee, with the ground coffee, with the wet ground coffee at the end. So what we need to do, and you may see there's going to be a little bit of granules all around, but we really need to take care of this rubbery, let's say, made seal, because that's the key of all the machine, obviously. There are all the holes again, so take care of this area. Let's clean all through this area, so all the parts between the rubbery seal and the base itself, and all around here, because you will find a lot of coffee here. And we need to get rid of that and clean it properly. Otherwise, it's going to affect and so not let the next ground through. And so the water is going to stop.
Do you take the rubber seal out? Or
You cannot take the one when you use it. So when you see that you may also do that actually, to be honest, but we never do that. So we're going to change the seal once it's cracked or once it's so rigid as that it's not working anymore. But for the cleaning, there's no need, let's say, to take it off. You can definitely clean it from the outside. It's going to be perfect. But always keep an eye on that, because if you feel that it's still and not soft, let's say, or maybe with some cracks, time to change it. Otherwise, it's not working. Otherwise, you have the coming the coffee from the outside. So, what can we do? So we really need to always pay attention on that. All right. That's for the cleaning. And so we've said everything about that. Just remember, never on a dishwasher. And honestly, also no soap. Just remember, of any shape, liquid or anything. Have you got any questions regarding the cleaning part?
No, I think that all
Good.
good.
Oh,
Makes
good.
sense.
Very good, very good. I'm happy to hear that. Well, we actually went through the full workshop. So we went through the full process. We really touched any aspect, and I'm happy of your questions. So again, if you still have some questions, even so for something a part of the cleaning that we've seen and we've done before at the beginning of the workshop, feel free obviously to ask me. In the meantime, I'm going to check if the coffee is ready, and once it's ready, I can tell you we've done it. So good. Let's see. What do we have? It's coming out right now. If you want to have a look, you're more than welcome to come here, because it's literally coming out right now. Perfectly nice. Good guy. It's really nice. Thank you, coffee. So it's coming out very nicely. You have all the smell, strong aroma. And so that's just and it should be. Now it's coming. Yes, that's the very end of it. And what we can do is wait for the last bubbles. They're coming out still. Wait and still. And we can actually already turn off our stove if we want, or power. And we can close it while we're finishing. And again, leave that for a while, just a few seconds, leave it here. And what I suggest is to move it on the stove, again, to not burn it, and leave it here for a few seconds. And the coffee is good, and the coffee is done. Let's go back to our seat, thank you. It is easy, yes. You just need to know how to do that, otherwise it's definitely easy.
It's easy, but there's a lot I wouldn't have known.
A lot of
Yes,
little
it's true.
steps.
Small things.
Yeah.
Tips.
Yeah.
Very national tips. Can be like national secrets, so you need to keep them, do not spread the word. No, I'm joking. I really hope that you enjoyed your workshop today with us.
Lovely.
And as you know, let's go back here to our feedback form. So you know, you already participated in many obviously workshop with us. You're a member, so you know all about that. These are feedback forms. Feel free to let us hear your voice, so let us know how do you feel about the workshop, because obviously that's with you. We can and we have to improve it every time from many points of view. So take your time to fill it as you prefer. There are 2 pages on that actually, so feel free to fill it as you prefer and take your time with it. And be honest, even because it's anonymous. So it's even more comforting. So you may really say whatever you want. You may then folder if you want it, so it's as you prefer. All right.
nice quick form.
It is. But we always try to put the right effort on our feedback form because it's important to see and to have a real feedback, a honest feedback on how it was. There can be always areas now to adjust, to improve. So it's important to make you feel comfortable now feeling it and express. Bless you. Bless you. As in Italian would say, salute.
Sorry about my dreadful handwriting.
I'm sure you're more than right because you haven't seen mine, so it's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Can I just ask actually? I've seen coffee machines, like I see that's got like the all straight sides. I've seen just round ones. Is there any difference between?
That would be mostly like it's something similar to a tea maker. So maybe with some bulb in the middle just to push it. So it's a completely different meter.
So all the coffee ones should have those 6, 7 or sort of.
Yes, that's the stovetop coffee maker. The other one is another way, again, to create, to make coffee, so it's absolutely fine. And you will still use the ground one, but the flavor is different. To be honest, it's more, if I may say, more watery, let's say. So more on an Americano style, so long coffee, because the water has a stronger impact on that. So it's just a different, let's say. I wouldn't say one is better than one. The other is really on your taste. So it's not really, I would say, Italian, for example. It's more English style, let's say. So a household in Italy would have this one. And probably Italian people would say, oh no, that's the best and only way. So, but honestly, I really know the other one. So it's definitely correct and nice, actually, not correct, nice to use it. So you can definitely give it a go. It's just different. It can be nice to play with that, to switch sometimes. So it's really good. It's a good one. So if you have it, you can keep using it. You have our blessing. You can do it.
No, the one my grandma gave me is like that, but I've seen the other one.
Yeah, there are a lot, especially here. So it's normal time to find that.
No, that was great. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. And again, you may fold it if you want to keep an anonymous profile. You may fold it, you can leave it here, so it's whatever you want, covered. So, yes, thank you so much for your feedback again. They're really important. So, it's always helping us to offer you the best that we can.
So do Italians, would you always drink just a really small cup of that coffee, or do people ever use it with warm milk or?
Well, so when it comes to the coffee, when we refer to coffee, in Italy we really refer to the small ones. And I know people have both made jokes of us with the small cups, tiny cups, the small coffee. That's our after meal coffee, or maybe break again, or during the morning, or maybe for breakfast. But easily for breakfast, the most use a cappuccino. So the one, obviously, as it's called here, so with a lot of nice milk. So if you want to prepare even at home, we call it caffè latte, coffee and milk. And that's going to be with your coffee freshly made, and then you pour the amount of milk that you prefer, and that's exactly what we have in the morning. It can be, so obviously not for kids, and all with cereals, so maybe some biscuits, or maybe cakes. Be nice. Why not?
I like it.
A nice start of the day. Good for some
I was born in the wrong country.
Well, we can import this way, all this habit, so not a problem. Now we know also how to make a nice coffee. So we just need to add the milk and the cake. Yes, we need someone to prepare the cake. That's the other step. Well, thank you all for the feedback. Thank you so much for coming today. I really hope you will enjoy that, and I really wish you to enjoy the next workshop you're going to do through your day workshop. So thank you again, and see you soon. It's been lovely to meet you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
See you.
See you. Bye.